Good morning. It's 7 a.m. and we're riding. Woohoo! Good morning, Rebels. Well, I am up camping with my family today in the mountains and thought I would have some fun on the bike because this is the perfect place to learn, right? So instead of doing the normal trails I usually do when I'm in this area, I'm actually going to go down the road today and do more of a flat surface, large actual road surface, and just kind of see how I do. I went up and down the trail actually for about 2 hours total during this, which I've cut down to 10 minutes because, yeah, who wants to watch all that? So this is the highlights of the day, but there was a lot of beautiful views this morning and a lot of good experience. Went down some really steep hills and back up, and obviously had cars going past me on the opposite side a couple of times, a couple of joggers out that were super friendly. It's a great ride. I think you'll enjoy it. As you can see right here, our gravel actually turns back into asphalt. So I rode up this a little ways and then decided to come back and just kind of see what I could find. And back to gravel we go. So this was my second time through, and the first time through I'd noticed this driveway off to my left, and I went, you know what, I think the next time I go by, let's go down this and just see what's here. So I entered and immediately noticed the whole fire thing off to my right there, low, moderate, so it's I was like, huh, that's weird, I wonder what's back here. And pretty quickly realized that, I was like, oh wait, is that a fire department? Well, yes it is. So I went, should I keep going? Am I trespassing? Am I getting in trouble? This is like government property now, oopsies. So decided just to go down and turn around and come back. But I was curious, so I decided to keep going. And nice facility. I mean, it's all volunteer based up here in the mountains. So there wasn't anybody there that day, which I was thankful for. And just took a very quick look around and went, okay, that's good, we're done, and headed back out. So the next area to try was this nice little driveway, and I was like, oh, I think there's maybe some houses back here or something. So I decided to head down the road, and at first, yep, look, house, okay, good. Some cars, some people talking. Then I started to notice there were a lot of cars in the back here. And oh wait, this is a hiking area and I'm officially in the parking lot. Oopsies. So once again I was like, I'm not planning on hiking, so I guess this is not for me. So I came down to the end. Trying to find a place to turn around here. Yep, nope, definitely not a parking area or housing development. This is hiking, so we are out of here. Turn my little self around and I will see myself out. Thank you very much. Bye! I've actually found an actual housing development, quote unquote, and I couldn't tell if these were vacation homes or if they were just, everyday homes, but it was a really beautiful area. And as I was going through this little meadow here, I just happened to spot a moose. So of course I had to turn myself around, come back, and get some pictures because it's a moose. And actually this was the second one I'd run into in 2 days. I just didn't get any video of the first one, but the first one was a big bull moose with my nephew and I. He was on his bicycle, I was on the motorcycle, and we ran into this bull moose that just stood up and looked at us, and we went nope and turned around and went back. And so this one we gave some room, and this was a female. She was good, and took some pictures and left. Alright, so headed back to the campsite to tell you what happened at the end of this trip. This is where it gets disastrous, guys. I'm so embarrassed. So embarrassed. So many lessons learned recently, and they just keep coming. Okay, so sitting in front of the fireplace, enjoy, and I'll see you guys in just a second. So I had this fantastic weekend with my family camping, right? And I got to ride the CRF Dusty a couple of times, and my brother-in-law rode her. I even got the kids to sit on her and grab it a little bit. We had so much fun. It was great. My mom sat on it. It was really cool. So we had a great time. We're getting ready to leave, and I need to take the bike down the mountain, which it's been stored up there for a while, and I needed to practice with it down here on dirt roads. So I said, okay, let's just bring it down. I have I don't know what the hitches are called, but it's one of the trailers that actually sits on the back of the car. So instead of a trailer, it sits like this, so the bike sits sideways on the back of the car. And it came with a bike. I was very excited. So we get it on, and then we look at it, and we dropped, it's heavy, right? It's 300 pounds or whatever. So the back of the car dropped so much, we went, I don't know if we can clear the road to get out and back onto the main road. So let's take the bike off. Let's ride it back up to the entrance to the area, and then let's get on the road and get it back on the trailer and take it from there. Okay, so we all did that, and we get there, and we're looking at all the straps, and the brother-in-law that typically helps me with this was not on this trip. but he had given me very specific instructions on how to attach the bike back to the trailer. And I was like, okay, not a big deal. I didn't really listen because the other brother-in-law was there and he's had motorcycles and I figured he knew what he was doing. So I made the mistake of not really paying attention. Mistake number one. We get to the bike on the trailer, we've got it cinched down, and then I have these other straps for the tires. And my brother-in-law and a friend of mine said, oh, you know, you shouldn't need these. Like, we've got it on there tight enough, we shouldn't need these. And I was like, okay, mistake number two. So against my better judgment, because in the back of my head, I was like, you know what, we should probably just put them on just because. And I'm gonna get yelled at by the other brother-in-law, like if I don't. And they went, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. I said, okay, you know, you guys know what you're doing, so I'm gonna listen. And you guys can probably guess where this is going. So I am on the, let's see, I left first. Everybody else was getting the kids back in the vans and whatever. So I head down the mountain first, and I have ridden this road hundreds of times over the years. So I know it very well. But I'm taking it way slower than I normally do. Anyway, I'm almost out of the mountains. I'm about, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes from getting out of the canyon. And there's like a little town, and then there's a bigger town, then you're kind of in the plains. And so I'm headed in, I'm outside this little town. I haven't quite gotten through the curves, and I hit this curve, and I see the bike in the rearview mirror jump where the back tire fell off the trailer. And like, I don't know if I hit a bump or if I went around the curve too fast and hit my brakes, or I don't know what happened. But I see the front end of the bike, which should have hit the back of the car and just smashed in the back window and then like drug down the back of the car, somehow didn't, like total God thing, because I was driving my brother-in-law and my sister's car. So thank you, Lord. It was very, I don't know how it missed. I really don't know how it missed. But somehow the back tire fell off onto the road, drug the rest of the bike down and then onto the hitch trailer. And I'm in the middle of a curve and I can't stop there, because if I stop there, somebody's gonna come around this blind curve and just smash me as I'm trying to pick this bike up. So I had to make the horrible decision to now drag the bike through the curve and into the straightaway before the next curve, so nobody hits me as they come around the corner. And listening to this bike like on the road, so tragic. So tragic. It was the saddest sound in the world, I swear. So I get to the straightaway, I throw it in park, I throw my flashers on, I jump out, and I'm like, if I, there's nobody behind me at the moment, if I can get this bike up, back on this trailer, and then out of here before anybody sees me, cool. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's liquid all over the road. I don't know where it's coming from. You'll find out in a minute. The straps from the front had twisted as the bike went down, and they were so tight I couldn't stand the bike back up by myself. And as I'm trying to stand this bike up and realizing there is no way I'm gonna be able to do this by myself, I see the first car come around the curve, and I'm like, oh, this is so humiliating. And this lady stops and comes running, and then all of a sudden, I don't know where all these people came from, but there were like 6 guys that showed up, big, burly, love men. And they came up and they tried to stand the bike up, and one guy goes, well, I have a knife, we can just cut the straps. I said, we can't cut the straps. I don't have any way of getting this down the mountain if we cut the straps. And he goes, oh yeah. So they had to figure out how to get their fingers in there and get these things undone so we could stand it back up, pull it forward, strap it back on. I went into the car and I found those 2 little straps and we put those on. But we were there for, it felt like an eternity. I have no idea how long we were there. I would guess no more than 10 or 15 minutes, but we have a rule in Colorado, like if you have so many cars behind you in the canyon, you pull over. And it's like, if you're a native, it's 2 to 3 cars, you pull over because they're obviously faster than you. So get out of the way, right? I guess the law is 7 cars, which is way too many, way too many. But if you have 7 cars behind you in Colorado, you are required to pull over by law. Anyway, so I don't know how many cars are pulled over behind me, and nobody can pass. And finally, some cars are kind of coming through the curve and passing, and including my own family, apparently. So they got to see it, and they're, of course, freaking out. There's no cell service. They can't call me to see if I'm okay. They didn't even honk as they went by. Like, I totally didn't see them. I was so panicked trying to get this stupid bike back on the car. So we finally get it back up. Everything's good. I went down to the first pull-off area, pulled off, waved and blew kisses at everybody as they went by. I was so thankful for all these people. And I started crying, and I was like, this looks so, like, this bike looks bad. And, you know, here's my baby, and I've just got the little brake lever fixed. Now I've wrecked it. So one guy said, okay, it looks like you've got a hole in your radiator. Whatever you do, don't turn the bike on until you figure out where all the liquid's coming from. And I was like, okay. So I go down into that first little mountain town, and I pulled over at a bar or gas station, I think in between the two somewhere. Hi, buddy. And it was my moment to panic. Like, I finally just took a minute. I probably sat there for 20 minutes and just bawled my eyes out. I felt so bad about this bike. And I knew my brother-in-law was just going to give me absolute grief, deservedly, for not tying down the back tires. And I just thought, what am I, like, I can't believe I did this. I felt so bad. You gonna come up? Hi. It's dinner time. Is it time for dinner? Yes, it's time for dinner. You need to just sit down for just a minute. Almost done with the story. All right, so I get it to my brother-in-law's a couple towns over. I've obviously driven very, very slowly to get there. And I'm, you know, I face my medicine, I get my lecture, and we look the bike over, and the road rash is gnarly. So here's what happened to the back light. So the turn signal, and you can see I shaved it off really, really well. And then the exhaust pipe had some damage to it too. And the cover for that looked like it had gone through a cheese grater. And then there's the radiator. So what I think happened with the radiator, because that was a 1.5-inch gash in the bottom of the radiator, and the whole radiator, instead of being straight up and down, now sits diagonally, which is not good. We took it, I think it hit the side of the trailer as it went down off the back of the car. Again, no idea how. There was absolutely no damage. There was no scratches. There was nothing to the back of the car. Thank you, Lord. Just absolutely incredible. But yeah, the bike was just absolutely wrecked. So we took the next couple of weeks and we ordered parts and got that fixed. So it is running again. And I've got all new parts for it. It looks much better. I even learned how to install some of them myself. So that was kind of fun. I did the light totally by myself, and then watched my brother-in-law do most of the rest of it. I helped with the exhaust cap, and we had it. I was gonna do that, and we'd stripped one of the screws, and so he ended up having to do that on his own. So I got like 3 of them off, then he did the other screw, and then once we were done, got that on and looking good, and all the other covers and everything. So it looks brand new again, which is great. It's running very well. I had somebody who works in a motorcycle shop look at it for me to make sure the alignment and everything is fine. We are good to go. So thankful. And it saved myself a ton of money by not taking it in. And I learned a few new skills. Yay! So that is my I can't believe I did that. Oopsies yet again. And so I left at my brother-in-law's. I haven't done a lot of riding on it recently. I've been riding my Rebel more, but this week I am taking a dirt bike class. So it'll be my first class. I'm hoping they will let me record, because I really, really, really want to, show my progress, and of course all my oopsies, because apparently I do those a lot lately. So that is what has happened and where we're at.
All right, have a great week. I will see you very soon. I've got a few more videos to do to catch up with all of the ones I've recorded before we take the class. So stick around in the next couple of days. There'll be a few more of these, and we'll see you soon. Like and subscribe, comment below, and keep your wheels on the road.